All right, shalom, shalom. Put a little, so, all right, shalom, shalom. You know, we GMS in Oklahoma. You know, uh, this is a sit down. We'll be on the highways and byways tomorrow. You know, so we're gonna just keep it rolling like we always do. Giving all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Qadash. Barak, Barak, Yahawashi, double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, great millstone, shalom. To all the hopeful elect, all the brothers doing the sincere work, across the four corners of the earth. To the contrite spirit, return back to the Most High, blessings. We're in a time in the end. We're going to talk about a little bit about these celebrities and their fans. What we mean by celebrity, anybody put in a high seat in the public eye that attract crowds and big, gatherings, according to their status, and pretty much going into the scriptures of how, that includes those that know they're Israelites. And the leadership of some of these groups, that includes the president, Trump, he's a celebrity. That includes, these basic ass slaved out celebrities, like the entertainers, and well, we're gonna first get that word. That celeb, that word seller comes from high or highly ranked, like silly, like get it, CELE, it'll pop up. Etymology.
Right now. What's that?
No.
Okay. Slow.
Anybody can.
So, that's not the one that we're looking for.
Said celebrity.
Yeah, it is.
CELE.
Yeah.
Not the whole word.
Okay, excuse me. That's right.
Saying that.
It says
Selling.
says dope denoting a swelling or
It's a swelling that's rising, Go ahead.
or hernia in a specific
Yeah.
part,
So, swelling.
specified parts like
Yeah. So, rising, like I said, ceiling and all that. And then Britain, Britty goes back to Britain. Like you have a girl named Brittany, that's really, her name is really Britain, or those similar words. And that means some kind of, look that up too.
What is
Look up Brity. Y'all on etymology should pop right up.
Yeah, mine's just
yeah,
too.
it says,
I think you got
says the name Britain can have two main meanings: a nickname or shortened form of Brittany or Bridget, which both mean from Brittany
For Britain,
or Great Britain.
or Great Britain. And that word great is in there. What else it says?
It says, and sometimes referring to a person of Brittany,
Yeah.
a region in France.
Uh-huh.
It can also be interpreted as spirited,
Yeah.
or lively.
So a spirit of lively. So you put those words together, high spirited, which, you know, on the left hand side, that's spiritual wickedness in high places.
Yep. Huh.
You know, so you know, these people model themselves after like of fame, attracting crowds, you know, top, attracting you know, the celebrity connections like these shows and all that, and the entertainment and all that, bread and circus, you know, and that's how they get their popularity. Because you know, I believe personally, IUIC wouldn't even be out there, you know, if they had, there wasn't no fruit for 10 years, they would have quit or something. They would have probably done something else. But GMS did that. So I mean, I'm speaking as a man. You know, they wouldn't have been, a lot of these Negro ninjas wouldn't have been out there. You know what I'm saying? If that flame wasn't consistent. And GMS has shown that, you know.
They just did that. They new little antics this week or so ago. They did this thing called a land grab, and they had all these people put in this money because they talking about they gonna buy this land and make it like a Hebrew Israelite community. Like,
yeah,
it's already been camps that and tried to do that, and you see where they ain't go nowhere. You know, this isn't our rest.
Yeah,
they're trying to be the celebrity stuff, man.
Yeah, and coming together with other religions, you know, trying to make themselves a bigger fashion of attracting people into the truth. That ain't how the Most High get down, man.
It's just a money grab.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
So we dealing with high-spirited, so-called spirited, because there's such thing as spiritual wickedness. So just because you're spiritual, that don't mean you're righteous spiritually. You know, you could be wicked spiritually, wicked spirit. So that's what a lot of them exercise. Trump in the office, he's dealing with witchcraft. You know, he's famous. He was intern in business, man, and he started shows as these celebrities do. He's been over Diddy's house, whatever. He was part of the Epstein thing, you know, and they all famous, man, and rich and famous. The life of the styles of rich and famous.
Ran a lot of hotels, you know, casinos.
Yeah.
You know, basically, you know, scamming people, man. This is how these people got rich, scamming people.
Yeah. It's like that movie Wolf of Wall Street, if you ever watched it, with Leonardo DiCaprio. That's how they get down. Long shots, you know, schemes and scams. That's what America's about. And anybody attached to the platforms of America on that high level, they running with the devil, man. You know, it says riches profit not in, you know, let's get some scriptures.
I got Luke chapter.
Rich.
Luke.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one you were speaking about when a rich man speaking, every man hold his tongue.
Yeah, go to that one.
This is Ecclesiastes Barak, chapter 13, verse 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue.
That's why you got people listening to Trump. Whoever's, you know, rich, got money, especially these women are drawn by that. You know, that's just the truth. They attracted to power and money, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with it as far as what it means, because that's what attracts us to the Most High. He's the power of all powers. That's one thing that attracts us to the Most High. You know, and the strength and you know, the brotherhood and the things that come to us through the Holy Spirit to help us get through this BS. Go ahead.
When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue and look.
Yeah, every man hold his tongue and look like, oh, that's, especially if they're a celebrity. I mean, these celebrities considered rich, you know. So if it was who was a popular celebrity everybody listens to? I mean, they got all kind of platforms now, podcast platform, you know, TikTok, YouTube, and they all say these things. I mean, you know, they set up their own platform and they speak about events. They speak about, like, what do you think about Israelites? What do you think about Trump? What do you think about MOTB and these celebrities? And then people be like, oh yeah, well, Ye was one of the main ones at one point, you know. And everybody thought he was gonna come into the truth. Oh yeah, Kyrie Irving, all them, you know. And next thing you know, they went under, you know. So that's what happens when you're in that field. Go ahead.
And look, at what he said, they have stole it to the clouds.
Yeah, stole it to the clouds, man. Like, man, you know, you have somebody, a celebrity, doing all kind of wicked, and then they ask, you know, what do you think about President Trump? What do you think about Elon Musk? And they say, yeah, I didn't know she was that smart. You know, ask Cardi B something. I think her loud ass voice. You know, Trump, he's cool, but he need to pay my rent and all that. And then, you know, you have somebody in the comments. Yeah, I know that's right. That's what I'm saying. Cardi B, I knew she was smart. She ain't always see. Just because she's fucking rich, what she do? One of the latest things she did, got mad because her daughter wrote on one of them Louis Vuitton high price purses and shit. She was mad as hell because she spent $16,000 on a damn purse. That's your stupid ass, you know. But that's how they value things, man. Go ahead.
They have stole it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this?
Yeah, who's the poor man? Pretty much us. You know. And anybody that's poor, you know, and, hey, people see a bum, they get the fuck out the street, you know.
Mm-hmm. And also that popularity is with it too, so you could even maybe have a little bit of money. And if you ain't in that boule, you ain't with, you know, making them sacrifices they had to make to get their fame, then they still gonna kind of look at you as poor, because you got some of the people who Jake finally becoming millionaire, and you got the billionaires looking like he ain't nothing. He's still poor.
Yeah, because the way they got the pyramid, that economic pyramid, you could be doing all right, and then when these things come on, like these terrorists and all that, and it affects the economy, and China's talking shit and talking about, you know, we laughing at America's terrorists and all that, and it affects the economy. That middle class man or whatever that think he's climbing up the ladder, he gets cut short, you know, and he get affected. He's like, damn, man, I was almost close. I had my house and my car and my family and shit. Next thing you know, I'm out of a job. What the fuck I do? Because he don't want to go back to, you know, he got a damn whole family. And then he go back to making $15 an hour. He can't feed his kids. And then his wife was like, I want a divorce. I can't deal with this shit. I need a man with more money and more power. So then, you know, next thing you know, he's out there struggling, getting talked about by his own kids. Go ahead.
And if he stumble, that will help to overthrow him.
If he stumble, they'll help to overthrow him, man. That's how they do. And we were set up to fail in this world, you know, by the elites. That's why they got that pyramid. It sits on the dollar bill, you know, and they climb up the pyramid in the ladder of the. Let's say if you work at a warehouse, you're a laborer. They be like, yeah, just do that work, nigga. But then you be like, well, I want to climb. I mean, I want to, you know, advance. And well, we got benefits, you know, we got dental, we got a vision and all that. You be like, all right, and I'm getting it. You trying to get yourself together, and then you get another better job that pays $20 an hour. So you might be a car salesman or whatever. Some of them other jobs in welding and all that, which is the better jobs. I mean, like apostles say, get you a skill. But you know, might be a carpenter, might be an electrician. But you're gonna have to see a lot of those people that you might, you know, bump heads with. And then if the boss just decide he don't like you on a personal level, that won't never be shown, but he'll just fire your ass for some reason. You know what I'm saying? He'll pick anything to fire you. You know, we can't do that on the premises, or you was, you know, smoking outside. This is not a smoking area. You do that again, you're fired. Like, what the fuck? But that's kind of margin they hold Jake. And then Jake, after that, Jake trying to get another job, and they be like, what happened to your last job? And they be like, well, I got fired. Oh, well, so you must be a troublemaker or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Put that on your record, or if you get arrested, You young and shit, and then you get arrested and what they say, forgive your brother. He's only gonna forgive us for, they're gonna look at our record like, oh, you was a criminal, nigga. Get in the back of the police car and shit. That's how evil these wicked ass devils are. But the celebrities, they don't. When the last time you really seen a celebrity get arrested and shit? You know what I'm saying? Beyonce, she ain't never been to jail since she been Beyonce. You probably never in her life. Never will, because they just love her. You know? Yeah. Go ahead.
I sit on that scripture.
Yeah. And then there's also they'll listen to the was that same one that said the man in silk clothing?
No, that's not it.
Okay, but that's relative to that. Get that one in the
But I mean, well, you can go ahead, but the scripture above it do say when a rich man, the scripture before that, when a rich man is fallen, he had many helpers.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's it too. But that one with the
one that says sit here. Yeah,
sit here and thou seat.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And we're saying this too because this is going to become an economic power system to where there's going to just be rich or poor. And they're going to be like, well, you got to find your place. And you be like, well, shit, I'm trying to own a house. Well, we changed the laws on ownership of houses. Now they got to do this, that. Damn, what can I have? Well, they got the small houses, something called tiny houses on there.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you're a giant in that motherfucker. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't even stretch out in that motherfucker.
Just like you were saying with the how they call them the blue bloods, the elites, they're not gonna have the MOTV. Only the slaves are gonna have that. And of course,
Shalom to the brothers and sisters on the comment board. Shalom.
Yeah,
tuning in.
Of course, the even some of the rich and wealthy gonna have it, but them elites, the top class, that 1%, they probably not gonna have no MOTV in there. That's stuff to track them.
Well, and the thing about the MOTB is it's going to try the whole world, but it's really for our test.
Yeah.
Because we the stars of the show.
Mm-hmm.
They really targeting us.
And come think about it, they'll probably still take it because they want to be cyborgs, man. They want to use that to try to enhance.
Well,
they
Elon Musk hasn't done that yet. Why don't you put a chip in your brain?
Mm-hmm.
See what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Test yourself first.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This pointed at 2 and 3. I'm gonna start at 1. This is James chapter 2 verse 1. My brethren.
Always talking to brethren. That your brother means your own bloodline, man. They always talking to their own people. Go ahead.
Have not the faith of our Lord Yahawashi Hamashiach, the Lord of glory, with respect of persons.
Yeah, there's no respect of person with the Most High. He don't care if you're a rich man. That don't mean, what I'm saying, and you help. Let's say you're a rich man and you're doing all this wickedness in the industry, but you help the poor, you give, charity or whatever, like not Dennis, but Denzel Washington, he's considered as a humanitarian, which and I guess, a character of helping humans worldwide, but he just admitted that he's a dopehead and and pretty much a homo. So it goes that out the window. I mean, what can you do from there? You don't want that kind of help because especially women that had the Good Samaritan law, and then they don't really mention the Good Samaritan no more because when you pull over to help somebody, they end up shooting your ass or something. You see a female on that side of the road talking about, I need help. That's a setup. Or believe it's a setup. And keep rolling and shit. Like, yeah, somebody else will help her ass. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll knock on the door and say, we selling this and that. We don't want that. But you gotta read spirits too. Most High give you spirit to the best of our ability reading spirits. Go ahead.
Verse 2, for if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring.
Yeah, a man with a gold ring, kind of reminds me of how flamboyant Jerome was on Martin and shit. Like, we gotta, announce that he's there and shit, and flashy and shit. Go ahead.
With gold ring and goodly apparel.
Guilty apparel, and you know, you might say, well, you look at Trump and he just got a suit on. Well, but the suit has been fashioned as somebody with money. You could be broke and you dress up in a suit and people think you got money and shit.
Yeah.
So that has been fashioned to fit that kind of lifestyle. Go ahead.
And there come in also a poor man in vile raiment.
And there's a poor man in vile raiment. This happens in church too. You come in church and you vile raiment, they're gonna look at you like you the devil, you know, himself. They're like, hey, what is it? Watch that man, get him out of here, because they bougie in church too. They go, you know how it is, especially at Easter. You know, your uncle break out the suit that he bought that suit for $500 just to wear it at the Easter thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and now you even got some of them churches they trying to be slick and have them non-denominational ones where they all just dress regular, you know, but it's still a status thing.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't gonna just let anybody in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
They might act and smile, but nah.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it's all a money grab.
If you go to a church and the AC is not working or whatever, they're gonna be like, well, the preacher gonna be like, well, y'all ain't giving tithes, double tithes, so we can take care of this stuff in the building. It really never gets taken care of, man. Not to the extent, you know.
It's like, what was that happened like a month ago at one, was it something?
He locked everybody in the church.
Trying to,
And wouldn't let nobody leave.
Yeah, he started getting death threats and everything. That's what his ass get.
Yeah, and you know, who knows what he's going through personally. He probably, you know, tricked. I mean, you know, you see people, a lot of people out of their money and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now he most high is taking that shit from him. Go ahead.
Verse 3, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing.
The gay clothing, they ain't talking about like, you know, like a homosexual, talking about the you know, bright, flashy colors and all that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about it. That's why apostles say always go into words, and people don't know what words mean today. But go ahead.
And say unto him, sit thou here in a good place.
Sit down there in a good place. That was what they would say to Trump. If Trump came to one of these churches, oh, Trump coming, we got to, you know, move, make room and move, you know, let him do a 2-hour speech, you know, or anybody else, celebrities and all that. I remember, hey, Michelle, she's not the most famous Destiny Child member, but when she go to one of those churches, she went to one of those churches, they rolled out the red carpet for her. You know, because she's been on TV. She's famous. Go ahead.
And say to the poor,
And say to the poor, we consider the poor. We, you know what I'm saying? We ain't rich. We ain't all flashed out. We ain't Flash Gordon and all that, man. You know, go ahead.
stand out here.
Then out there, like,
Yeah, stand out there.
Yeah, you know, especially when you had those back in slavery time when you had the butler. And, you know, the butler, you know, he can't do too much. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta stand there with the plate until he's served. You know, you try to do some extra shit, they be like, well, hey, what are you doing? You know, you a butler, man. You know, and that's how they with the classism, because that's back in Rome. This is modern day Rome. They got classism the same as it was in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
So you like what they call it when you when the celebrities fly, they say first class. That means you get all the good food and all that, and somebody that's, you know, they can't afford, they in the back eating peanuts and shit. You know. And we get this economic system, you know, we get like, okay, pay your rent, pay this. We good for the money of, for as that says, your daily bread and all that. Men work, sweat of the brow, we get the, but it ain't fair. They don't pay us the same day, which is supposed to be in the scripture. I mean, which is in the scriptures. Like you're supposed to pay that man the same damn day. So what if he need that money and shit? You know what I'm saying? He be like, I gotta wait a week and shit.
Yeah, you know, and it's supposed to be in gold, not fiat currency. You know?
Exactly, it's supposed to be in gold.
It's all just a scam, man.
And remember back then when gold was not worth more than, they wanted, they sold gold at the pawn shop, but now they say we want your gold. So Jake be like, well, shit, let me give all my gold and bring my gold rings and all that and turn it in for a gun or something, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like stupid, you should have kept the gold, but it's not even 100% gold. You know, they mix it with other metals. So the value of this place is shot, man. That's why your Mac don't even work with these women. They be like, you know, Jake's word used to mean something back then. You say something, they be like, oh shit, it's on this game. They got a song called what is that? One of the popular old songs we listen to it. It's called damn, not the other one. It's by Ghost Town, Jermaine Creole them niggas. But they was on the video and she said if your game is tight, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, then I'll get with you, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you had to do was spit some game back then. Now you do that, they be like, where's the money though? They want that money in and shit. And they want to know what position, where you live. Well, I live right up the street. Oh, you live in the ghetto? I'm looking for a man, you know.
Because that video showed Jake riding up on the girl with a bike and stuff. He was still, you know, got to get this little shot and shit. You know, you can't do that no more, man. You got to have some money, man. Can't do that no more, man.
So they lingering people with that cheese, that you know, to bite that MOTB. Go ahead.
Stand out there or sit under my footstool.
Under my footstool. Because what did Most High say? You know, you gotta consider the master above you as a master. You gotta consider that the Most High said the earth is his footstool. And then he told it was, you know, Yahawashi, the enemies are gonna become his footstool. Just like when we're connected with Yahawashi, that our enemies gonna come our footstool. You know, in slavery they use Jake to rest their fucking dirty boots on it and Jake's back as he was a footstool, man. You know, so the footstool is considered a low position where you rest your foot on, like it's at ease, like, you know, sit on my footstool, like let me, you know what I'm saying? I'm the person, I'm the man, you know, go ahead.
Verse 4, are ye not then partial in yourselves?
Partial yourself, go ahead.
And are become judges of evil thoughts?
Judges of evil thoughts, man. Because how did Yahawashi come? You know, on an ass. So he didn't come in king's apparel, but he's the king. You know? And through him we become kings and priests, Most High will. So Most High is deceiving these people, because we have crowns on our head. We don't have, you know, we're not in king's places. But what did it say? Even spiders are in king's mansions. So how much more are the elect important than spiders, man? You know what I'm saying? So just because we don't have king's apparel and we don't have a crown on our head, doesn't mean that we're not the rich of the world. Most High said he chose the poor, rich in faith.
You know, talk about that Isaiah in Revelation that talk about even though thou poor, thou art rich. Because that knowledge, you know.
And it clearly says in Colossians, it says he became poor for our sake. I was not. You know?
First Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 28.
What does it say?
I mean, beginning at 27. How he chose the weak thing, the base thing in the world.
Yeah, you get that.
Just, you know, add on what you brought out.
And for you know, we already know, those that know the truth, we in a base state because we fell off with the Most High, not because we're not his people. You know, so when you talk about the slums and the ghettos and projects, they Most High allowed our enemies to overtake us. You know, he said you'll be sold into your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. No man shall buy thee. You know, so you know you get put in the ghettos and slums and projects, And then they be like, well, you know, let's start the economy and all that. Well, not start, but let's get the economy. You go out there and get a job, and you be like, okay, you started McDonald's, fast food place because you're young. You go to school for like until you're 18. You try to go to college, but you make money. You know what I'm saying? And then you be like, well, let me just work. And then you work for like 2 or 3 years, making some crumbs and shit. And you be like, well, let me get a car. I need a car. And then you be like, well, damn, I need a place to stay and shit. Mom's just tripping. I can't stay with her forever. Then you stay with your girl because she got Section 8. And then your girl complains because it's shit going on in the neighborhood and there's niggas and like, hey, this nigga looked at me and when are we gonna get out of here? And, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, like let it take a year or two. You'll get a better job. They won't hire Jake. Then next thing you know, you're still in the projects. You say, well, let me sell a little dope. Maybe I could do it for about a year and stack up some money. Like Jake is not a dope seller, man. He just, when you're young, but Esau allowed dope sellers to be put in the projects to have Jake get into the game deep. The next thing you know, you're getting arrested, 5 to 10, maybe 25, depends. Next thing you know, half of your life is gone. So you get out and you be like, I'm fucked up. Nah, and then your girl, you try to get back with your girl, she was like, well, I'm in church now, and then you go to church and try to get in a career with her in a business and all that. But it ain't never the same, man.
And it's still all celebrity based. Going to college, it's all celebrity based. It's
all connected.
The churches is all celebrity based. It's all just forms of masonry, man. It's all forms of masonry, Roman Catholics. Catholic.
That's what it's always been. The old Roman was they had the cathedrals and the entertainment and shit, and gladiator shit, the arenas and shit. That's for their entertainment. That's how they got it set up now.
And that's what they use to try to make it seem like they're right. Oh, I go to church every Sunday, but they did damn, slothful as hell. Don't motherfucking do nothing for nobody. Complain about everything. You know what I'm saying? You got people like that who claim they really, the Lord's dealing with them. The Lord ain't dealing with these people.
They got on fraternities in colleges, like frats and
fraternities. That's what these celebrities said. Everybody's a Kappa and a
Sigma,
Delta and shit like that.
And they work proud with that stuff. They be on their cars. They drive around nice cars and stuff. They be like 21 years old. Like, you're not for that. It's because they parents, man, and that celebrity status.
Like, it's like who is that? Tracy Ellis Ross. And then she won't tell. I'm talking about she looking for younger dudes, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that didn't peep her, and people when she's about, they probably say this bitch is crazy. Cause she probably done some things, or probably but she want a younger dude, so she won't be controlled. But she don't know that these younger dudes are waking up too. Like, they don't want to either. Like this, we know about what's going on. You don't have to be young and dumb, man. You can be young and wise as hell, man.
All the apostles came in the truth,
Exactly. So she's lost. She's lost. She lost her what do they call it? Her peak, her prime. She's out of her prime. She should have done that shit when she was like, when she was moving around in the industry. But we all know it's all fucked up in the industry. Go ahead. Was it who we using Corinthians? Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 27 says that the Most High had chosen the foolish things of the world.
Go ahead. Go back to the base part.
Okay, yeah. Verse 28 says, and base things of the world and things which are despised had the Most High chosen.
Yeah, we despise and we're base. Jake making $15 an hour. Let's say average Jake making $15 an hour. Let's say you 18 years old, 19, just got out of high school. You got a job. That could pay for a little thick stuff. You can save up to get a car and all that, but they don't even count their money. Like the elites, they just rule the world and shit. They don't got no fucking calculator and shit and saving up and shit. They just rule the world. When they want to change the currency, or they get into these strategic war games, trade and all that. They don't include. Jake is not included in that. This is between one country and another, America and China, whatever. They don't be thinking about Negroes like, see, what can we do to help them make more money? Get the fuck out of here, man. They doing that shit because they rule the world and they got this power system and all that. So
and they got Jake gambling on it, man. They got these little things where like you could bet on like if there's a basketball game, you'd be like you can bet if this player make 26 points over 26 points 100. You can bet on it like that. So they trying to get Jake to like try to label to get rich, like gamble his way into this celebrity status, man.
Yeah. And, hey, man, I didn't seem like. I mean, like those scratch offs and gambling, lottery tickets. They stop the whole line and to get one. It's people that do that religiously, man. And that's all a game. It's all monopoly, man. Ain't no way they're gonna allow one person to get $23 million and shit.
Go ahead. I had a good one too. I heard.
But did you finish that one?
Was in on that one.
But you said the base and the next scripture. I don't think you.
Oh, on that First Corinthians.
Yeah. You said base, and then you said, I want you to read that again. Chosen foolish things to confound the wise.
Read from 27.
Yeah. There you go. That doom clock. It's gonna sound louder than that when it's time.
First Corinthians 1:27 said, but the Heavenly Father have chosen the foolish things of the world.
Yeah, we're foolish, and it says we're fools for Yahawashi sake. We're foolish. Like they be like, what are y'all doing? Like, what is this adding up to? What are y'all ain't got, I don't see no productivity, no physical productivity. But we're growing inwardly. Most I say he chose he fixed the inward man. So you see how these devils, Most High is tricking these devils. They think it's all about the physical. The celebrity world, bright lights and cameras and all that, and everything they touch is gold, pretty much like the money they touch. Like, what can I do? We got another platinum. I will come for you. Got another, we'll hook you up with the greatest producer, greatest song.
Gain is godliness.
Yeah, and the curse with Michael Jackson is what he had his inner ideas and inner thoughts and of writing and music, and just by who he connected with and the talent of his family, they were able to play what was in his mind. He can't play an instrument like Prince, but they're able to he's able to hum his stuff, and they're able to put it on the keyboard, put it in production. You know what I'm saying? So, they brought that. He was able to see what he thought inwardly. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can't produce that because we can't. I wouldn't. Nobody's gonna come up with a building enough for us to be like, this is heaven. Nah, we're gonna be like, nah, it's just a building. Like we know what the Most High, like, he puts us in the spirit of waiting for something greater than this physical world, than a building to go into, in a mansion to live in. Yahawashi said, in my father's house there's many mansions. Now Jake think he's cool with a mansion and shit, like MC Hammer, and he ended up being broke. Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson said all them belts didn't mean nothing. All the glamour and the fame. Now he's doing his own podcast, and he's interviewing people, famous people. You know what I'm saying?
He was talking about he more wanted to focus on his family.
Mm-hmm. Collecting pigeons and shit. You know what I'm saying? That was his. He didn't. he thought, because how far you want to go? How much do you want to go out? Because when you get old, let's say he's 60 now, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't still box at 60.
Yeah, you gotta figure out something else to do.
Yeah, you know. And then your joy is supposed to be in your children. And when the prophets back then they said like, I'm getting old. David with Solomon, he said, be a man. Take care of your business, and when you gonna go out when you get older.
And that's usually how it is. Usually after you retire, you got children, you want to go see all your children doing, have them come around more. That's the value of really what you had, and that's how it is over here in the brotherhood. That's why we spend our time. Of course, we're not retired, but we know how valuable it is for family. Your family is in the truth.
Yes, because
that's your family.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're supposed to be able to pass down wealth to your children, right? Mike Tyson didn't do that. Michael Jackson didn't do that. Prince, I don't think he had children, but you supposed to. But we do pass down like the truth. That's the riches. That's the wealth. So we're able to Most High, even though we ain't got the greatest physical fiat money type of thing, we still able to pass down this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to our children, to our brethren, and all that.
That's why I said it's like it was talking about the disposition, like of the faith. When it talks about Paul administering that to the church, you know what I'm saying, and talking about Peter and whatnot. That word literally goes into the word economia. Economy. This is the Lord's economy. This is passing down wealth. This is us basically getting the commonwealth of Israel, man. And you know how I said the Lord rewarded the fool and the transgressors. The fools, Esau, Edom, so-called white man. The transgressors is 2/3 of our people here in Babylon, and then the other wicked Israelites out there in the four corners of the earth.
Yeah, I mean, you get, it ain't jealousy. Well, Most High said you provoked him to jealousy. So when we see our people doing stupid ass shit and still making money off of stupid ass shit and mumbling and doing a damn track and shit, and now he got all the women and money and shit, you be like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, that don't mean that the Lord dealing with you though.
Yeah,
that's why you gotta really make sure.
But it provokes us to jealousy because they supposed to be married to the Most High. We supposed to see them in the light of spirituality. So it kind of, but we know what it is though. But it still kind of like irks us, like, damn, man, fucking ass, the fuck they do that for? Why, how he make so much money and his shit is whack as hell and shit. You know what I'm saying?
I got a scripture with that.
Go ahead.
They said Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 9. Why is earth and ashes proud?
Why is ashes proud, man? Because we all came from the earth. Well, the nations came from the ground, but Adam is of the earth. But Most High said, from dust from you came, dust shalt thou go. How are you proud, man? Nobody would say he weighed the dust of the balance. The nations are dust of the balance. When you put dust, it's nothing. So, Most High can take these nations down right now. But he loves his work. You love your work. Like, even when you go to the studio, you look back at your catalog, you be like, damn, I remember my first album and shit. And then, that's the second album. I remember I did that in New York, or I did that in California, and your friend, and shit. It's a story, man. But they won't let Most High have let's do about how he does things, man. I think they should go down right now and shit. Man. Let Esau play out his fucking ass and watch him get weak. Watch him get weaker and weaker. And then you be like, oh, look at this dude. Man. Like, watch him get, now the mockery is going back on him. They said China laughed at America's terrorists and shit. Literally laughed, like, you know what I'm saying?
Because they got so much stuff going for them. Like I was talking about, did that last class in 2001. They made them in Russia and made something called the Shanghai Coalition. They've been stacking bread before them bricks. Yeah, they got bread. Oh yeah, and they own a lot of farmland now. Oh yeah, and they got bread.
And then, like I said, well, like I read, like the import and exports, China was most of all that old shit that America was trying to advance over and didn't need no more. China said, we'll take that shit. We'll make a damn robot out of that shit. Like, give us your exports, you know what I'm saying? And which is all these, you know, wires and shit and these old computer parts and shit, these electronics and shit. Now what they got? They got an AI son and all. You know, they got robots now. They got one of the most advanced robots, so to speak.
They're actually investing in their economy though.
Yeah.
China, like America, we supposed was one of the richest countries. And what we do our money, we squander it, didn't do nothing with it. Everybody in debt.
And now they done got to that point where they built it secretly. So now everything they getting, they turn into them damn missiles. That's what they doing really.
Yeah, because all that shit comes, all the missiles are made of elements, man. I mean, you know, gas, hydro, galactic components, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This all comes from the elements that the Most High have us over. If the Most High, once the Most High he's dealing with us, and we overcome our enemies, there ain't gonna be no more war because we're gonna be over the elements. So they ain't gonna. How is Russia gonna? What are they gonna use to overtake us and shit? You know, when we in control of the elements.
Especially say we'll beat their swords in the plow.
Yeah.
They're gonna bring beat us with some agricultural weapons.
Yeah, man.
Like some gardening tools.
Carrot gun.
Yeah.
And hey, them Russians are brute. They brute people, right? Like they tough, man. They go out there and you know all those cold places like Moscow. That's where they train. You remember Rocky? He fought the Russian dude, and he said, "I will crush you." That's how he sounded, like a fucking robot. But you know, but is Russians the champion of boxing? Are they a champion of UFC? No, it's Jake's. You know, so we tougher than all them nations, man. But Most High don't want us to use that in a physical way to overcome this devil. He want to do it his way, which is spiritual powers. And I know it seems like far-fetched for the carnal man, because what it said, carnal man can't receive spiritual things.
Yup, you can't.
So y'all don't believe, you know, it's hard for even our woman, she's the weaker vessel, it's hard for her to believe that we're going to be kings and priests and over this devil. Because she's been trained to believe this so-called white man as the pinnacle of power, which now she should see, but he don't, you see Trump, you see that fist Trump threw up, he was like this and shit, like, it's like, America's going down, man, like, you know? And the patriotic spirit of America, that's over with. I remember after the 9/11, everybody was outside, yeah, America, like, we gotta get them Arabs. Now I was like, yeah. Because China's talking shit. Iran is talking shit. There's too many people talking shit. North Korea, they were like, shit.
Most Americans are weak, like not being funny, but they done feminized the military to a point now you got flamboyant characters in the military, you know,
And they ain't ready to go to war.
And that's why you got like the whole cyber division just stepped down because they ashamed of this place, man. And even like we was talking about when 9/11 happened, it was a whole group of people out there too that was saying like, nah, something ain't right. And now all the way up to that point, there's a division. This place ain't gonna stand. Nah. It's a wrap.
No. The apostles always talk about civil war. That's one of the worst things that could ever happen to a nation. That happened over there in Greece when it came down. You know, they got into it, and a little bit of cannibalism happened over there, and all kind of shit. You know, when the economy falls, that's it. That's it. It's just like what it say with the scripture we read when Jerusalem went down. Everybody was on like, oh shit, she's down. Let's get her. You get in a fight, and if you go down, you get in a fight, you go down, he come. Your opponent is coming at you. Unless you learn to fight on the ground. A lot of Jakes don't know how to fight on the ground, man. You know, but you know they do that jiu-jitsu and all that. If I'm not mistaken, the UFC fights when they get on the ground, they'll kick a man in the head while they on their back. Jake don't know how to do that. So America doesn't know how to do that. Once America is down, they don't know how to get back up. You know, it's about to be a 3-round knockout, and that third knockout is Yahawashi. He's gonna do a right uppercut on and take America down, man. Go ahead. What you got?
So I got Luke 15:16.
That
Or
stone cut without hands, man.
No.
And it smited the image.
What was it? 16:15 months. Like, he said, this is Yahawashi speaking. And he said unto them,
Where are you?
Luke 16:15.
Right.
It says, and he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but the heavenly Father knoweth your hearts.
Mm-hmm.
For that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of the Most High.
An abomination of the Most High. And you highly esteem yourself, see where you get in this world. You're going to end up, see a lot of jakes, when they go to college, that's the middle ground for, the moving your way up to these prestige colleges, which is these elites and shit. Because when you go to college, there ain't enough money and there ain't enough knowledge for you go into. And then let's say you have a doctor, you want to be a doctor, but the doctor is hiring his own daughters and sons and shit. And people he know, and he, you know what I'm saying? They talking about black community. Where's these black doctors at? These black scientists at? These black there ain't even no black political figures no more. The black dentists, where are they? We got more dentists than y'all. Of our own people, brothers in the truth are dentists, man.
And that's why, the Lord said, when you increase, you have to be humble. You have to humble yourself more. And that's not what they portray to Jake. They out here, the more they get, the more they proud. And that's the wrong way to go.
Yeah. It says when Paul said, I know how to be a base and bound. It says, like he said, the more let another man exalt you. Don't exalt yourself, man.
Stay in your lane and make sure what you're doing, you give more than you receive, especially to the tabernacle, to the brotherhood. Because that's all we have to, test family.
Yeah. I remember that interview that Shannon Sharp did with, I think it was either Cat Williams or something, and he was like, one of them celebrities, he said that, yeah, man, you got money, man. He's like, nah, you got money. You the one that's the NFL football player. I do all right. You know what I'm saying? Now he's on charges and shit. Like
$50 million.
Yeah, Most High took his ass down. And he ain't gonna rise back up to that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these celebrities are just going out of their minds and just scrambling and shit for, to hold on to something. They all, Most High taking them all down. Like we said, stars that haven't been falling.
Mm-hmm.
They getting their due, man. And that's how you know it's the end of the world, because that was a big stronghold on Jake. Like, that's all he thought about. I want to be a football player. I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a rapper. I want to be an actor. All that shit is going down. And even these women, they don't get it, because it seems like they untouched in the industry. Cardi B flashing her ass around all day.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion talking much shit. They Most High gonna wipe their asses out, man. Bury them fucking bitches underground, man. Where they belong and shit. You gonna return back to the dust where you came. But Most High may save you for Jacob's trouble, with your ass is gonna be wigged out and screaming. And Most High, remember what he did with the heathen, sent lions upon him. It could be lions moved out of a place into some of these places, and you could be in a house alone because you don't want no man around, and you be scared out of your mind and shit. You might have 2 or 3 kids or whatever, and that lion say, that bitch is, I'm not leaving until I get that bitch.
Yeah, and they always got zoos. There's a zoo in like every city.
Oh yeah,
always
exactly.
About like with
you think they're gonna be escaping?
Mm-hmm.
Because they tired of this shit too. they captured by the so-called white man too. What they say? Everybody's gonna rejoice when this devil go down, man. The trees of Lebanon is gonna rejoice on your ass.
That's crazy.
Crazy. That's how deep and captivating this thing is, man.
Whole covering cast over the whole society.
It's gonna be like Most High gonna pop the roof off this bitch and get everybody out and
bring their ass.
Yeah.
And And it reminded me too when you basically saying about a celebrity. I think about like LeBron James. They call him King James.
Yeah.
And like that scripture, I think it's in Daniel, like those they're gonna in the last, they're gonna wake up to everlasting.
Yeah.
You know, shame, like
Mhm.
content, like man, I regret, like
Yeah.
I thought this was everything, and man, it's nothing compared to the glory what's coming.
Yeah, because you know, like they been, you know, as you know, the term lionized, you know, but in the kingdom, it's gonna be the opposite.
And that shame and everlasting content, that's, you know, happens simultaneously, you know. Part of that is them not waking up to the truth. That's part of them waking up. Some of them probably gonna die in Jacob's trouble. The Lord mess around could bring them back when everybody's raised up, so they can see your ass leave their ass. It's a whole bunch of different ways. Yup, you get your
The
ass.
scriptures.
What did it say? That's
Rawchaa said that. So like,
go ahead.
but yeah, Yahawah said that he raised the dead back up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they might get put to death, but right, and some that have passed that are other 2/3,
They're gonna have to get raised back.
They're gonna come back while those missiles are flying.
Most High could do whatever he wants to do.
Because it said the enemy shall be them, but if the slain of the Lord shall be many, that means somebody got to get run back in this thing so they can see you get left.
And you know what? The thing is too that like the outward, we talked about the outwardly. You don't know. It says, "Give me any plague but the plague of the mind." You don't know what these people are going through. They getting tortured in their mind and shit, and even in dreams. They ain't gonna talk about it. They ain't gonna put it on record. They ain't gonna say, "I had a dream last night that I was getting cut up in the concentration camps." They're gonna be like, try to do drugs and try to shake it off and wake up in the morning and shit and try to forget about that shit. But Most High is getting everybody that deserve to be God just believe. Then it says the wicked shall not go unpunished. It says be not concerned with how the wicked is going to be punished, but more how the righteous is going to be saved. You know, so we concerned about the ministry, man. We ain't, you know, even but we'll you know do testimony. We'll point things out, of course, but we ain't trying to figure shit out like, oh, Most High, you ain't real because they ain't getting punished. The fuck out of here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Most High gonna get their asses, man. And these bitches that's talking shit in the industry, in the truth, that's you know, and these ninjas that claim that they Israelites that's still serving the world, still celebrating holidays and shit, and still intermingle with the world and shit, that still want to keep the celebrity status, still in Hollywood, you know, like Alizé and shit, you know, talking mad shit, but you know, and have a celebrity status following and all that. Most High gonna take their asses down, man. You know, because we really for righteousness, man. Fuck all that, and they, you know, try to make righteousness look weak and shit. Righteousness will whip your ass, man.
That's what we were saying. That's what I was talking about yesterday. You're gonna turn them fishes into honey. Yeah, the prophets all night. We were backhand a whole bunch of motherfuckers. Yeah. Those men, operators are.
Yeah, and that's why it says by fear the Lord we persuade men. That's why we put up them destruction videos on your asses about how the tornado ripped up this town and shit. Mm-hmm. How the babies was inside. How a woman murdered her 3 children and shit. Right in front of her husband or vice versa and shit. That's the Most High, man. He'll do it to your ass, man. You know, it's some crazy. Jake been going crazy, man, and people in general have been going crazy and shit.
And it's only amplifying Salaki because you think about the terrorists that's going on. What that's gonna automatically affect the consumers in America.
Yeah.
Since America could import more than the export, so we don't make nothing. Everything comes from China, Mexico, different countries.
Yeah.
So less products on the shelves. These people gonna go crazy.
And like I mentioned in the video, China got $50 billion invested in America. That's enough to really just say, you know what, you know, we got a large amount of investment in you and shit, because like America's still $1 trillion in debt. Mm-hmm. And then everything is made in China. It's like 70-80% of stuff in here is made in China and shit, man. So China's gonna be like, we all over your shit, man. You know what I'm saying? You better gotta get, because the trade wars is not, the tariffs is not a suggestion that America always brag that they got more power. Of course, they always do that. But the tariffs is not that America's winning. It's a conflict interest to where it's a sort of like a competition. Like, oh, okay, y'all got this, we got this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, like when you were a little kid, you used to have. Remember the we rebuke Halloween, but any kind of if you had candy and you have a candy, you be like, I'll trade you for this.
Yeah.
And then you trade like 2 bubble gums for annihilator, and then they eat the annihilator. They be like, this is hard candy. What the fuck? I want my, I want what I gave you back. He's like, nah, it's mine now. And he's like, well, I'll give you one more of this to add to that to get my shit back. And then they be like, nah, and then you can't never get your shit back, and you just get mad, and you want to go to war with the person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Cause you feel like they gypped you out of money, but your shit wasn't. You the one that signed it off to have somebody else possess it and shit.
That's going on in America. They didn't do a lot of these backdoor deals, trying to really. They were supposed to be investing in their own people in their economy, but instead they doing all these backdoor deals. Now the other countries, like the weak I'm strong, and then like you can't bully me no more.
Yeah,
I own you, like.
Yeah, and China, like we said, TikTok is a $6 billion or company, whatever you call it, $6 billion. But everybody brag on Temu like it ain't nothing, but it's a $6 billion company, man. So that lets you know China can make up some shit looks more attractive, and that looks more valuable. Where even if it wasn't the best of material, they'll still get the money for it because people still buy the shit because it's affordable and shit. America want to high price everything, and people be like, I ain't paying no fucking gas for all that shit.
The Trump Bibles, Trump putting the damn schools they made from China.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He bought them hoes over there. He bought them like $50 a Bible and shit. Over here, it would have been like $200 a Bible, man. He got them hoes for $50 over there.
Yeah. I remember during the COVID, some stores short. I mean, when the blackout happened, and it was during the COVID, they when people them convenience stores, instead of doing the cash machine register, they have to write everything down. You know what I'm saying? On a paper that when people bought it, because the electricity was out. So if you're overwhelmed and shit by a crowd of people, and they be like, come on, you got to write quick. You need, you ain't gonna be able to keep up with that shit. That's why they got all this electronic shit, and you just put in your, like Oprah, we said she don't carry around $1 billion. She don't even know if she got a fucking $1 billion. All she knows is she's Oprah and shit. And then they be like, well, Oprah, you're broke. How is that? I'm Oprah. And then they calculated all their money because somebody else was taking care of her funds. Well, you see that this and that, and you ran off of this, and you didn't do this show, and then we calculated that, and she be like, damn. Because somebody else is taking care of her money and shit. Niggas don't take care of their own money. They put it in the bank and let them do it. And then and if you making a lot of money and you lose $10,000 in your account, you know what they gonna say? Well, show us them receipts. Show it. And Jake don't keep up with that shit. So he gonna be like, I just lost $10,000, man. But I'm just, we just letting you know how things are getting digital and how they controlling the world to where Jake, really ain't up on it like he should be because of this digital world. Jake is not into digital shit, man. He'll use it, but he ain't into digital shit, man. He's just a regular dude trying to survive in this motherfucker. Even these rich Jakes, you like celebrities, they get escorted everywhere in the limos and shit. They ain't putting shit together. They got bookers and shit, and people put shit together. You got 5 concerts. You got you do a concert there, and you got to come back. Well, where we going next? Where we going? You're gonna be going to Spain. They really like you in Spain. Oh shit, You get celebrities get excited, but if they didn't have no bookers and shit, they wouldn't know what the fuck to do, man. So Most High is taking that away from them. You ain't got no concerts to do because they don't want you no more. I remember a couple of celebrities got booed lately and shit that you didn't think would get booed and shit. Like, damn. Because they're getting tired of this shit, man. Cardi B talking shit every time. You think a man want to get with her? You think a man want to get with Tracy Ellis Ross and shit? She's proud. She didn't already show the goods online and shit. You think a man want to get with that? Vivica Fox, she's old and shit. Face, she didn't had all kind of surgery. When Most High is turning back the tide where a man wants a natural woman. You know what I'm saying? A natural figure. I look at the comments. They be like, yeah, she got a BBL. Fuck that trashy bitch. The value of this place is gone down because they pumped up the value. You know, they pumped it up with steroids. They pumped it up with silicone and all that. You know,
Filters.
What do they call it? When you got to pump more money into society to keep it. Keep it balanced. They got to print more money and all that. You know, go ahead. And the Most High pumped their minds up with pride and all that, so he could take them down like he did Pharaoh. And then he humbled Nebuchadnezzar too. He humbled all the motherfuckers. Go ahead.
This is James chapter 5 verse 1. Go to now, you rich men.
You rich men. Like, and the rich could be, you know, they state of mind because Jake could sell his soul for a Happy Meal and shit. Because he want to get into the industry. You know what I'm saying? Like what they was doing with Diddy and shit. They was like, you got to cross the bridge, make a left, cross the street, give me some chicken and shit and bring it back. Like, I ain't do that shit. I would have told him, like, nigga, I ain't doing that shit, man. I don't want a fucking record deal. I'll go try to find another one or something. She's fucked up. Almost getting ran over and shit. Go ahead.
Weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you.
Your miseries shall come upon you. What? No money. Your miseries that you don't, you know, it's like that, Trading Places, you know, with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. And they was like, at the end, they was like, turn the lights on, you know, the stock market and all that. They didn't have no money and shit. It was just all of a sudden just not there and shit.
It's gonna come to that point where even the ones that still got money, they gonna cast their gold and silver in the streets because it ain't gonna be enough.
Exactly.
It ain't gonna matter.
Yeah.
It's gonna be stuff money can't buy.
Like we mentioned every now and then, somebody, a person try to in the scriptures try to purchase the Holy Spirit, like, and the prophets got mad, like, what the hell? Like, I think it was either Paul or Peter that, like, you think you know you could purchase the Holy Spirit with money and shit? And it even says, present yourself as a living sacrifice. Remember Abraham and Isaac? He was about to give up his son. It wasn't no fucking money. It was liveliness, a living being of it that he cared about so much. So if you're in a position that you care about money more than Most High, he'll take that shit away from you and see what you'll do about it. And you gotta be like, damn, I know what you're saying, Most High. I gotta serve you. Fuck that money. Fuck these riches. Fuck these establishments or these high platforms and shit. You know, I just want to be a regular man. Leave me the fuck alone. I got a regular life. You know, we might have to work and shit until we out of here. I don't know. But the Most High said, hey, the grinding gonna become low. You might not have to work, or the government might put everybody on a fixed income and shit. And because as they try to go into this new world order, hey, go to work, come back home. We'll pay for your groceries. You know, they already got SNAP benefits and all that shit. Go ahead.
Verse 2, your riches are corrupted.
They corrupted.
And your garments are moth-eaten.
Yeah, because Most High said, don't set your treasures on stuff that's moth-eaten. That's moth, you know, you'll have a man have a whole clothing factory and shit. And he went in storage and he wouldn't get back to it in years, and then it's all eaten up by the moths. You know what I'm saying? And the moths, you'd be like, these little motherfuckers, like, they can barely, you know what I'm saying? Or the what do you call it? The termites that eat up your wood and shit. Little bitty worm creatures that you think that won't do anything. Eat up your whole house and shit, man. That's the Most High. Or the locusts that eat up your crops. You know? That's the Most High, man. You can't, hey, that's the power of the Most High, man. I don't care who you are. You're a king. You live in a mansion. And you come back. Everybody, you see somebody in your mansion. Who is that? Yeah, you see about 10 people in your mansion. Like, this is our mansion now. You're like, oh shit. I gotta call some other people or just forget about this shit. I gotta go to war or something. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we got overtaken and Jerusalem besieged, we couldn't do nothing about it. It was that's what the Most High said. I'll have your enemies overtake you. You know, and we got scattered. We couldn't do nothing about that. Most High know what would happen when the enemies. You gonna what it say in the curses? You're gonna flee one way and 7 ways or whatever. You know, running from the enemy. You know, then you try to come over to America and keep your own laws, and then here come Columbus, right after your ass, like, hey, we come to, you know, that's what we didn't even say that, but I'm just saying. Then they're like, we can't go nowhere, man. Like I said, a nigga can't even go to a park and read a book. The cops will roll up on your ass. Everything all right around here and shit. They're like, you reading? What are you reading and shit? Oh, I'm reading the Bible. Well, yeah. I understand that my daughter, we in the church and everything, but you can't be out here. Like, what? You know? You get a ticket for anything you do in there. Crossing the street as a grown man, you'll get a ticket. Speeding, doing 5 miles per hour over the speed limit, you get a ticket. Go ahead.
Verse 3, your gold and silver is cankered.
Yeah, because that gold is not gonna mean anything, man. And they ain't gonna be able to buy no spiritual power with that gold and shit. What they say, they gonna try to, you know, use that gold as, you know, to buy themselves out of trouble and shit. That shit ain't gonna happen. Hey, you try to give somebody gold and somebody might take it, you know, be infatuated by the gold, but they want some food, man. Now you can eat gold, but that ain't gonna, people don't even know that. But I'm just saying, like, the value of things is Most High turning it back to what's really valuable. It says in the scriptures, food and raiment be thou content, man. And these celebrities, like you said, when they get to a millionaire, they want to be a billionaire. Like, what the fuck?
Your mama did that scripture said, if I be rich, like, who is God? You know, like,
Exactly.
that's how, because that's how they will make them celebrities feel good about that. So they money, they overlook everybody else because they got $1 more over you. So, but it's Lord taking the money, the infrastructure, the economy is failing. So what do you have if you don't have your money?
It says prosperity is a forgetful affliction, man. Go ahead. We'll start to close out. Go ahead.
It shall be a witness against you.
Yeah. And everybody gonna look upon these rich people, and especially America, because what it says, she have lived richest and delicate, rich, and became full in delicacies and all that. You know. Imagine if you can eat. You feel like you got enough money to eat forever. You'll never be broke to where you'll never be hungry. You gonna be like thinking you the shit. Or you can buy the store. If you walk in the store, you're gonna be looking at them people like, say something. I'll take this whole thing down. I'll hire some cops to come get y'all's ass, even if they, you know what I'm saying? You can hire people and shit, man. You can make a little army for yourself and shit. Like I said, you say you out there and you rich, there'd be a crowd of people like, yeah, he, you know? And especially if you're paying people and shit. Like, all y'all have to do is come out and listen to me. You know? Yeah, I'll pay y'all to listen to me. Shit. Everybody be listening to you and shit. But that's the way of the world, man. Most High separate us from the world, man. We don't need this fucking fiat shit, man. We don't need the gold. We gonna get the gold. We gonna get the prize, Most High. What did it say? The righteous shall inherit, the meek shall inherit the earth and possess it. Go ahead.
And shall eat your flesh as it will fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days.
Yep. Because the wrath is gonna come upon you, man. You're not gonna be able to do anything about it, man. Let's say you lock yourself up in a cell and you got all your gold in there, and then you're gonna be like, wait a minute. And it's what do you call it? A nuclear You know what I'm saying? They always show them movies of they survived the nuclear blast and shit.
Yeah, like they tried to
and then they put it because they in a cellar deep underground or something, and then they be like, wait a minute, how am I gonna eat?
Like they tried to do in Fallout.
Yeah.
And it was definitely they was trying to keep it biblical because there were still people up top and they ain't all of them ain't die either. They got mutated. That's how it's gonna be.
And like you said, like yesterday, like the value of human life is gone in space. Sometimes you want to get out a little bit to see, life out there and shit. Get some sun or something. They had this one Twilight Zone. He's like, I wish everybody was getting on the nerve. I wish everybody would just fucking disappear. I just hate it. And then the motherfucker started talking to mannequins and shit. Start seeing shit, hallucinating and shit. Because he was lonely and shit. He didn't have nobody and shit.
He didn't know what value life is. That's why it's,
we said the value of the brotherhood.
Yeah.
It says you're gonna want to hear a voice in that day.
Yeah, another man's voice.
Another man's
That's
voice.
talking about a man of the Lord.
The man of the Lord. Your brother, man. Because if you hear your enemy, you're gonna be like, oh shit. That's Esau.
Esau gotta stay in these bushes so you can't see me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He's gonna got infrared robot dogs and drones and everything. Ain't no way that we getting out of this without no spiritual power.
Man, it's gonna be real interesting when this shit go down. And Jacob Trouble, because them celebrities, they most high bringing them down. So we're gonna see them prime celebrities. We're gonna see them as regular people running from whatever they running from. Shit. We're gonna be like, look at Beyonce and shit, running from a bear and shit. Look at that bitch, damn. The bear gonna look at you and like, I'm on this bitch, you know what I'm saying? So he gonna be in line, you know what I'm saying? What they say, the beast is gonna be in line.
Yeah, they said the beast will be in league with us. The stones of the field.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, the two she bears, they ate up them 42 children and shit, man.
I don't read about that in the church.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't ever read about that.
Because the women and the babies are so precious and babies and all that.
I remember somebody said that too. I pulled that scripture up. He was like, "What? You confused?"
Yeah, because they don't understand it.
They don't know nothing about the Lord.
The one that they call God, it had no respect to person.
It was like they just put that
one
in there.
No kids.
And that kid is a spirit that's been here.
Yeah, that's an ancient spirit. Because and that's how reincarnation exists. It said it's in Wisdom of Solomon 12:1, an incorruptible spirit is in all things. And so how you gonna come back then? How your spirit gonna die?
Those that pierced
It's gotta come back. Yeah, they gotta come back. Yeah. They gotta be here for them to get their ass whooped.
Yeah. You gotta show up to the ass whooping convention and shit. Something that the Most High go looking for you. Wouldn't say fishers, hunters and shit. That's what they do, hunt. Brothers, my brother put a scripture. We'll close out. He put Proverbs 3:3. Go to that right quick.
Yeah.
I think it was Proverbs 3:3. So that's why we say it's exciting times, man. It's exciting. It's going. You think it's going? Is anybody saying it's boring? And Most High gonna show you some
some boring.
Yeah, he gonna turn. You gonna be like, it's all kind of shit going on.
Damn, you gonna wish that you didn't have that.
This was crazy because this is the calm before the storm, dude.
Yeah.
Because I think about the place that the Lord sent on Egypt. Like that's kind of minuscule compared to what he gonna do now, though.
Yeah.
Like he said, he gonna do new.
Like the apostle says, it's gonna look like a day apart compared to what's gonna happen now.
Yeah, and he even talked about some of them plagues, like with the locusts and stuff. He said it ain't even had that many locusts on the earth since then, all at once.
Yeah,
in that area.
Yeah, and it says how much the wickedness in Adam's heart, how much they have grown now.
Yeah. So it's gonna be more amplified.
And it basically means man's heart because Adam means from the ground. So all these elements, all these people, all these nations, all these countries and shit, they're everywhere, man. Like and they all got minds to do shit, man.
Well, like I think about when he said, when you flood the days, he said man's heart was evil continually.
Mm-hmm.
That was back then, thousand plus years ago. Imagine like how we're in a new age with technology, we sending more wickedness, like sins reach to the heavens. Like it's gonna be a different type of judgment compared to that.
Yeah. So much as it was ever been.
Yeah.
Even the time of Jacob's trouble. Go ahead.
You said Proverbs 3 and 3,
I
right?
think Proverbs 3 and 3. What did it say?
It said, "Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck."
Nah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Pulling on now.
It's probably down there at the bottom.
Nah, it was it was 3. What did 1 say?
It said, "My son, forget not my law."
Here it is. I think Proverbs 3 and 3.
Proverbs 3 and 3.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm in Proverbs. It says Proverbs 3, chapter 3, verse 3. "Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table."
No, it says envy thou not the oppressor.
Yeah,
Proverbs 3 and 31. My bad.
Okay, yeah.
My bad. Yeah.
Kind of small, so
Yeah.
that takes real small.
All right, it says Proverbs 3 and 31. "Envy not thou, envy thou not the oppressor."
Who's the oppressor? The so-called white man. Envy not him. Envy not his ways.
Yep.
Envy. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that's trying to be rich. New World Order and all that. Robotics and all that. RFID chip. All that. We ain't choosing none of his ways, man. Envying none of that. Go ahead.
"And choose none of his ways."
And choose none of his ways, man. Because it's always been that the way we influenced by the heathens, the Most High has mad at us again, and then he like, well, but this time Most High ain't gonna. This is the last run. He's raising up men, and pouring His Spirit and His laws in our inward parts to where we become perfected, and that's going to be in the kingdom, which is a new covenant. It ain't now, but we're rehearsing the righteous acts to get there. So we casting off all this. What do they say? Cast off every imagination that exalts itself against the Most High, the Son. So we denying all that shit, man. Most High will to the end. We don't want that money. We just want our work due and shit. I go to work 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, pay me. We ain't trying to scheme and shit and come up in another way. We just trying to, as regular men, brothers got hustles, but they legitimate hustles. It ain't like we selling dope and shit, and selling illegal bands, whatever. We doing that shit. People like our product, they buy it. Shit, that's a fair thing, man.
And you got people, they see, they worship money. They make money their God. Yeah, that's what you can't do that and simultaneously seek Yahawashi.
Yeah.
And that's why you got
can't serve two masters.
Right. Yahawashi said that you gonna either serve Mammon or the Lord. All right, and that's what's going on with groups like IUIC. They too focus on having this
leadership of IUIC.
Yeah.
And they got a celebrity person, celebrity fashion about them.
Yeah.
All on these shows and all that, and it ain't no jealousy here because y'all can be rich, y'all can get on them shows. We don't give a fuck. Like keep that money, like that don't make us. Money don't make you. You make the money.
Baba Kashaf, we ended off with this one right here. This is Proverbs 28 and 22. He that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye.
Have an evil eye, man.
And consider it not that poverty shall come upon him.
Yeah.
So like you said, these celebrities, they hasted to be rich. They
And like we said, when we say celebrity, we ain't talking about only singers and actors.
Right, come.
And so we talking about Israelite celebrities.
Yep.
We talking about Trump as a celebrity. We talking about all his Congress, his house, all these political figures. Anybody in a high seat that's publicly seen with a crowd of people around them all the time, they celebrities, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Go ahead.
Yep. That was it on that one.
Yeah, and that's, I think that another short definition for celebrity is or celeb, or it's a gathering of a crowd and all that. So that,
Attention.
yeah, attention. You know, so when you see that, you might want to ask questions, man. Like, you know, what did it say? Where walked in that when people well speak, well speak.
Yep.
You know, so did the Father. So, you know, even though we last and they be like, yeah, we don't understand what y'all doing. Like, y'all, you know, where's the money? Where's the building? Where's the show?
And
Where's
you know, Yahawashi, what he said when he was cursing out the Pharisees, the wicked Pharisees. He said that what he said. He said they love greetings in the marketplace.
Yeah. And love to be seen by men.
Right, and love the high seat, the high seat in
the uttermost parts, the
upmost parts of
the room.
You know, room con and the chief seats in the synagogue.
Yeah.
So I was shy. He disapproved of that. Yeah, that
preachers of these churches too.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, man, that's what is happening in America, and is going down. You know, prophets of doom. Sincerely, the prophets of doom. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
Yep.
But you know what I'm saying? Hey, hopefully it was edifying. The water again for being on the comments with the scriptures. You know, tuning in to the next time. We, like I said, we'll be out there on highways and byways tomorrow, most high willing, and continue to doing the work. Anyway, giving all praises to
Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash.
Barak, Barak, Yahawashi, divine to the apostles, the elder bishop, great millstone, my salutation to the brothers who work for the whole collection. Shalom.
Shalom. Look at that. It's a bang on slug.